This podcast is a member of WGPRN, WildGamesProductions.com.
I'm Chuck Norris, and I approve this game.
Welcome to the Roll for Initiative podcast.
Welcome to the Roll for Initiative podcast, volume number 3, issue number 117, take 2. That's right, folks. I screwed up the first time. So I'm DM Vince, and I'm sitting alongside DM Matt.
Hello, everyone.
And DM Nick.
Good day, everybody.
Who's fresh off, well, the two of you are fresh off Origins, right?
Jawohl, mein Herr.
Yep. Good times as always.
That's good. Well, we'll talk about that in just a minute, but this week we have a special guest sitting in with us, Tim. I'm not going to say his last name because he didn't give me permission to, but Tim, how you doing this week?
Good. I'm other Tim. I'm not the same Tim who's been on the show before. I'm different Tim.
Yes,
Your evil twin.
Yeah, he put an email to me, and I thought it was the other Tim, the web warlock, and I was like, yeah, sure, Tim, you can come on the show again. And he's like, wait a minute, I've never been on the show. I'm like, oh. Because Gmail on my phone only shows part of the name, so I just saw Tim and assumed it was Tim.
Oh, wait a minute. He's not the evil Tim because he's not the evil twin. No goatee.
That's right. I shaved that off.
All right.
So
Because
you're not
you know
the
why?
Mirror Universe Tim.
Because I'm a ninja in disguise. Oh, I just blew it. I blew it.
So, Tim, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and why you are you?
Why I am me.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. A lot of factors, of course. The reason I'm interested in being on the show, as a longtime listener of all the Wild Games productions, I like what you guys are doing. But my gaming background, actually, job-wise, I'm an educator. I work as a dean of curriculum at a high school. But I also write about comics and games for various websites. I am a regular columnist for Comic Book Resources. I do the When Words Collide column every Monday. I write for Comics Alliance, which is now back after being sold by AOL to another company. And I write for the Tor Books website. And right now, my colleague and I, Mordecai Node, are doing a weekly feature on Appendix N, where we're rereading a bunch of Appendix N books, basically one book by each of the authors in Appendix N, and offering our commentary on it. So that's sort of what I'm up to. Gaming-wise, I run a whole bunch of games. I run Dungeon Crawl Classics for my kids and their friends. We've done that weekly, although we've taken a break as school has come to a close this year. I also do an after-school program at my high school for a bunch of teenagers where we do first edition AD&D. And then I play in a weekly, well, bi-weekly Rollmaster game as well. So a lot of gaming in my life.
That's definitely good. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So last time we did a show, 3 weeks ago, we talked about a new show coming on the network, and it finally is up. It's already got 2 episodes out, Spellburn Podcast, a Dungeon Crawl Classics podcast. Joined our little network where Jim is the host, and Jeffrey, and I can't think of the third host name. I apologize, from Goodman Games. So take a listen, spellburn.com. They are on iTunes as well, and they're part of our network. So give them a listen to a really good show if you're trying to get into Dungeon Crawl Classics after you bought that giant, huge Pathfinder-sized book. That's not.
I tried to look for one at Origins. I could not find one, but I gotta say, Dungeon Crawl Classics has gotten a lot of traction in the past year or so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I
The
mean,
book is huge, but it's not as heavy as the Pathfinder book.
No.
So you can't use it as a deadly weapon.
no. Yeah.
I don't know. I would say equivalent to a Dwarven Tanker, D3 dice, a D3 damage.
Maybe.
Possibly. I don't know. I'm trying to just figure out what's bigger, that the Pathfinder beta book they sold at Gen Con, because that thing was ginormous too.
Yeah, I heard that was ginormous.
I think even bigger than the finished product.
Remember, I was thinking, remember that world's largest dungeon?
Yes.
That was ginormous as well.
Yeah.
1,000 pages. I think that worked, right?
And then there was the Champions 5th edition.
Oh, God, yeah.
That, which, if they actually, I can only imagine how big that book would have been if they actually used real paper as opposed to the paper thin phone book paper.
Oh, you mean the 6th edition of Heroes or whatever it was?
Yeah, the one
Hero
they've
system?
actually.
Yeah.
The ones where they actually did online ballistics tests to see if it could stop a bullet.
There was 2 volumes of that for 6th edition. I saw them at the local bookstore, the Recycle Books here in Denton, and it took up like half the shelf. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, those things were ginormous.
I'm like, why would I want to play a game with books that big? 2 of them are that.
It's Champions. You need a degree in accounting to make your character.
Oh my God! You had to have a degree in trigonometry to even. Yeah, it was insane.
So yeah, I think the other reprints finally did come out for the A series, was it, or the? No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is correct.
And I know there was going to be a free new module, introduction module in Dragon Magazine. Excuse me.
Yeah, I heard about that as well. It's
I haven't had a chance to look at it, so I was interested if anybody has looked at it, or I think it's coming. It might have come out in July. I might be wrong, but
it's like a follow-on to the Slave Lord series, from what I understand.
was it okay? Yeah, I'm interested to see what that is, and if anyone out there is listening has read it or is going to read it by the time this comes out, Matt, let's know. So, Nick, why don't you give us a start on your Origins report?
Yeah, Origins this year. I skipped last year, and but this year, 2013 Origins. In one word, weird. It was a weird convention. It was weird in one respect that my daughter Anna was her first gaming convention she ever got to go to. So this was a real big experience for her. So she came with me with my friend to Origins, and Jeff and his son Raceland and a whole bunch of us. So we all went down there on Wednesday afternoon. Went to get my pass. The power was out in the convention center.
Ugh.
Yeah, Wednesday night. Yep.
I did get up until I think 8 o'clock or so.
Huh.
Because
Yeah.
I went back later on and was able to get our passes.
Okay, so other than the befuddlement of the power, how was the convention other than that?
Other than that, we get there Thursday. I went to pick up some generics. I didn't want to register for anything. And they were out of generic tokens Thursday morning.
Jeez.
Why? Because they had everybody who missed games the night before because of the power got out, reimbursed them with generic tokens. So that was okay. Got some layer. Actually, I got to play the night before. We played Star Wars X-Wing.
Oh, yeah.
A Starship Miniatures battle game. Really fun.
Yeah.
My daughter, youngest player at the table, got to play the Millennium Falcon.
Ooh.
But like about 11:30 at night, we were both tired. She was getting like to the point where like, Dad, I just want to crash the damn thing. She's like, I'm done. It's like we're not getting anywhere. We're not even in the Death Star yet. So that was Wednesday night. Thursday, we also played the Star Trek version. The Star Trek version they had set up on Thursday. Very cool, because it was like a giant size version of it.
Oh,
It was like they had this huge section out where they had like they had Star Trek starships, like full scale, like full models of them that they used, and it was really fun. We also we were going to get into the D&D game that morning with Dead Game Society.
Oh.
They ran the D series of modules. They ran Vault of the Drow and Descent the Depths of the Earth.
Was it Michael or Chad?
Chad.
Okay.
Chad was there. Real nice guy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I met him, so he put a face to the name on the podcast, and he said, "Oh, I can't get you in. We're full." All their games were full.
Yeah.
By the way, which to me is like great. I'm like, this old school revival is just a really wonderful thing, and seeing how all these other games like AD&D are starting to fill up at cons. But that night, he at least got us through a little bit of an abridged version of what was it? Forgotten Temple of Tharizdun. You know, that purple colored module. I think it's WG4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
World of Greyhawk series. We just got like within the front door of the module. He ran a real abridged version of it. But that was kind of fun. That was on Thursday. We also got to play Call of Cthulhu when we were there, which was a kind of a mashup of Cthulhu and Godzilla. They did Cthulhu Rides again by the folks of Rogue Cthulhu, who always do a great job at running Call of Cthulhu events.
Cthulhu.
So basically, they replaced Godzilla with Cthulhu. Instead of G-Force, it's C-Force. So we were members of C-Force to take out Cthulhu, or at least hold him back. That was interesting. That was fun. And we got to play D6 Star Wars.
Yay.
Which my daughter had a blast. It was a great time, and she's starting to have an interest in playing that game. So I'm starting to get some more stuff for that. I love the West End game version. It's so theatrical. It fits the whole Star Wars universe.
I got a ton of those books, Nick, if you need some of them.
Yeah, you know what? I picked up a few there. Then I'm trying to get the revised edition stuff. So
Let me know. I'll look through my stuff for you.
yeah, I think her and her friends would really dig playing the D6 version. It's such an easy game to play, but it's so much fun.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then we
did you see the Shimura Hobbies where they had the buy one get 3 free? Well, they have a lot of the D6 stuff.
Yeah, I did pick up a few of that stuff. I picked up Corporate Sectors book, Classic Adventures book. There was a couple others. So I did. Yeah, so we did play some D6 Star Wars stuff with I forget the name of the gaming group, but they when they run their one, it's basically a campaign. You keep your character and you go to different cons that they host. If you bring the same character, if it goes up in an experience, the DM could register it, and you basically kind of have a campaign going.
Yeah,
and I guess it's been going on for 15 years now.
Was it Spark something?
Spark. That's it. Yeah,
Spark. Yeah, because it's basically kind of like Living Forgotten Realms or Living Greyhawk, except for D6 Star Wars.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So that was really fun. One of the more weird things, what was it, Friday or Saturday night, I think it was. We were at our hotel room. We're playing AD&D, where I actually started a campaign with the anomalous subsurface environment mega dungeon. And about 11 o'clock at night, we hear this commotion outside. One of the guys with us, he's like, sounds like the zombie apocalypse going on outside. He looks outside and he goes, oh my God. He goes, there's like naked people on bicycles out there.
What?
It was 11 o'clock at night, and riding through downtown Columbus were literally dozens of people either partly naked or completely naked, riding on bicycles.
That doesn't surprise me.
Okay.
I was like, what?
if you certain years for Origins on Saturday, you can watch a very interesting parade.
Yes.
Go up High Street. So
yes.
I'm not sure if that fell this year or not. I don't think it did.
All I know is that they're I want to gouge my eyes out.
Yeah.
It's like watching Cthulhu rise from Urlech. But yeah, that was interesting. Thank God my daughter didn't see. She'd be scarred for life otherwise. So that was like what I said. This Origins was weird. Yeah, it was kind of weird in that respect. But they didn't have any swag though.
Nope.
You had a coupon book.
Yeah, that's how Gen Con does it now.
Yeah, no swag.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Coupon. Yeah, it's like what Gen Con said is when you have a convention, you have to go to the manufacturer and say, like, in case of Gen Con, can you supply 45,000 of a given item? Most places will be like, no.
No.
So that's why you have no swag bag. In the case of Origins this year, they had 11,000 people, up 10% from last year.
Yeah, actually, this year was pretty packed.
Yeah, a friend of mine is a jewelry vendor, and they had a really good Thursday. It felt more like a Friday, Saturday to them. So I can only imagine what the rest of the weekend was.
Yeah, it was pretty darn busy, I would say, for the most part. Also I saw Larry Elmore. Said hello to Larry.
Yeah.
Hey.
And so, he talked with me and talked with my daughter because she does some kind of sketch work, and gave her some advice, and I picked up a piece of artwork from him. What else went on? The night of the dinner table live reading, we participated in that. That was real fun. So that's always a real treat to do.
Did Tracy Hickman do his breakfast thing?
I don't know.
He only does that at Gen Con.
I think that's at Gen Con.
Yeah, he didn't have a booth at Origins. I'm friends with the guy who actually runs his Gen Con booth, who organizes the inventory and all of that. And yeah, they just do all of that stuff at Gen Con.
Saw Kevin Sorbo, though.
Yeah.
Kevin Sorbo was there.
Yeah.
There.
And then
he was peddling some movie that he did.
yeah, and then signing autographs. And then the guy that played Mr. Fantastic was there.
Yep.
Eon, whatever his last name is.
I guess it was kind of a surreal moment because he was playing a Marvel HeroClix game, and he was playing Mr. Fantastic.
Awesome.
So from what I heard, that I'm like, that's kind of surreal.
Yeah.
I guess he was having a good time, but it was kind of a weird con, but it was still fun.
Yeah.
I still had a good time. My daughter wants to come back next year, which is great. I'm glad she got the full geek experience. So
yeah.
And it was really good. I had fun.
Hey Nick, how old is your daughter?
She is 13.
Okay, because my son is 12, and I'm just at that stage where I'm wondering if I should start bringing him to some conventions. But if your daughter had a good time, maybe it's about time to try it.
I would have to say Origins, compared to Gen Con, is I think a much more family friendly environment, despite the naked bike riders out there.
Right. Yeah.
Good to know.
But there's a lot of stuff that they have in Origins overall from all different types of people who are putting on games for stuff for all ages.
Right.
Which is great. And they do a fantastic job with it. I mean, I know gamers who have families of their own, and they plan their summer vacations around Origins. They bring their kids and everything, and everybody has a good time. So if you're looking for a big convention to do that, I think Origins would not be a bad place to start.
Right. Yeah, Origins is far more laid back than Gen Con.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah, because Gen Con just seems overwhelming.
Yeah, Origins is a great way to break yourself into conventions. Origins was actually the first convention I went to. Mm-hmm. I went to that Origins, and that's what made me want to try out Gen Con. But Origins is more, you can go, you can wander, you don't feel like you have to rush from place to place. Everything's contained in the same building.
Oh, geez, that's a lot helpful.
Right, so you're not going through 6 different hotels over a massive downtown area. There is some stuff in one of the hotels, but it's connected to the convention center, as in it's actually part of the building.
Like seminar stuff, yeah.
Right, and it's a far better experience.
Origins is interesting because it's a large national convention, but it's not so large that like Matt's saying, you don't feel overwhelmed.
Right.
It still has a little bit of a local convention feel to
right. It's in that in between of being big and small. I think.
Yeah.
It's
a nice happy medium.
Right. Yeah, it actually is. And with the day passes they do on Saturdays, you can get your entire family in for $20.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you just want to wander the exhibit hall, you can do that, your entire family, for $20 just to get a feel for it.
And I could recommend a good hotel that's close by.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard like what Matt was saying about, Gen Con, rush. I mean, Chad was saying the same thing. It's like, it's so much more laid back here.
Yeah.
It's like you can feel like just take your time and enjoy it. I'm like, see? We're doing it right here in the Buckeye State.
Yeah. I've learned to make Gen Con like that. I schedule no events. The only games I'll play are HeroClix games that I can drop in and out of whenever I feel like it. I schedule nothing. I do what I want when I feel like it. And and I have fun. I'm not going to have a jam-packed schedule at Gen Con. I refuse to do that. I'm not going to spend, oh crap, I'm running late, I need to go to get here and there. No, that's not fun. That's not a vacation. That's a job.
But I think I'm going to mull this over a little bit more later this year. I think I'm going to run a couple of events next year at Origins.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do a couple of AD&D games.
All right.
Awesome.
So I just seeing that the popularity is back, or at least the demand is there. I think I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the AD&D stuff and like the old Marvel superhero stuff. That's the first stuff that sells out at Gen Con. That and anything Cthulhu.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, anything by Chaosium or whoever. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's very much a demand, especially right now with the way D&D's in flux.
Yeah.
Everyone's wanting to go back to the edition they love the best at this point, considering that's kind of what Wizards is trying to do.
Come back to us.
In 2011, when I ran the basic D&D games, I had a flood of people asking me to get in the game. So at Gen Con, I mean, people were emailing me asking me to get in the game. I was like, no, I can't take more than 6 players. I said, no.
So, yeah, I'm thinking, I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to go through the whole slew of adventures I got, either, printed or PDF, and see what I could pick out and would be a real good, something really good for a 4-hour slot.
Okay. Matt, how about your experience at Origins?
Well, mostly I spent my time in the Miniatures Hall playing HeroClix. My goal was to accumulate as many of the convention exclusives they had and resell them on eBay so I could to help fund my Gen Con. So it was kind of, I'm one of those guys.
You go to a convention to help fund another convention you're going to.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Right, and it actually worked. It's the scary thing.
Wow.
Yes, I go to this convention to make money to go to the next convention. So, but it was just lots and lots of HeroClix.
User Matt.
Yeah, I am. I carpooled up with a bunch of friends, so I didn't get to stay real late because they are mostly just HeroClix players. They don't go in. They're not big gamers when it comes to anything else, so they weren't all that interested in exploring other things at the convention. So I got to see a little bit of the exhibit hall and the stuff there, but it was kind of just like, oh, here, play more HeroClix. Must fund Gen Con. Yeah, it was like my best old school purchase the week of Origins actually happened a few days prior at Half Price Books. I went there and I saw a bunch of first edition and basic modules. Yes, but no, what was even better was the prices. I picked up Midnight at Dagger Alley, a still an original shrink Gem and the Staff 01.
Wow.
Yeah, it has the KB Toys price tag still on it.
Oh, man.
You won the original monochrome character sheet book, still complete. The Temple of Death, Quagmire, and Drums on Fire Mountain, and Tomb of Horrors for $10.
Wow.
Quagmire?
All those modules, other than Tomb of Horrors, were 99 cents. I'm like,
dang.
Yeah. And they were in great shape, too. Tomb of Horrors was like $4. Oh, no.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
If you go to a Half Price Books and they don't have any gamers in the store, they don't know how to price the stuff.
Right.
No.
Well, the thing is, I've seen those same modules priced for $4 there. It really depends on which buyer bought them. So,
Man, you guys have this magical half-price books that I keep hearing about, and I've never actually seen one. I'm always jealous.
They're not Northeast, that's why.
oh,
Nope.
You poor thing.
Yeah, we have nothing like that.
Oh, this past weekend, this weekend, up in Columbus, they had their giant regional warehouse sale where all the stores send a bunch of stuff up. They get one of the buildings at the state fairgrounds, and everything in that building is $2 or less.
Oh.
What?
Yes. So
Why wasn't I notified?
Well, if you liked them on Facebook, they put it on their Facebook. They also did one like last month in Indianapolis that I didn't make it out to either, which made me a very sad panda.
If you're on their mailing list, they do the same thing. They'll send it to you.
Yeah. Yep, and then you also get the coupons. The coupons are glorious when you get 40 and 50% off one item coupons.
And then I hit up every half price books with many prints of the coupon.
Yes, I do the exact same thing.
There's like, what, 15 in this area of North Texas, so I can hit them all up and get 40% off each time.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little...
Right. I have like...
Now your secret is out.
Like no one else has done that.
Right. Yeah. It's like the one closest to my house still has some Judges Guild stuff. I'm just waiting for the price to drop a little bit because I forget. Yeah. It's like right now they're $10. So I'm like, that's a bit much for what they are. But once they drop down to like $5, because Jim Wampler already went there and rated most of the stuff.
There's one near me that has the Judges Guild stuff for like $2 if you want me to take a look for you.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I'm not really willing to exert a lot of effort to get it. It's more if I see it cheap, I'll pick it up, but I'm not going to like pay shipping or like whatever for them. So I'm lazy when it comes to that.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I had a pretty cool old school score via Craigslist recently, which I never use ever.
Yeah.
I don't know what made me check out Craigslist, but I said, man, I haven't checked out Craigslist in years. Let's see what's on it. And I found a guy who was selling a bunch of AD&D books. And the only reason I was interested at all, I mean, I own all that stuff, but because I do that after-school program, the kids are always asking for extra reference copies. So I saw that he had basically 2 copies of all the first edition AD&D stuff.
Nice.
And I said, okay, that's interesting. And he had a ton of lead figures from the 70s and 80s.
Ooh.
And so I said, this is interesting. And I'm looking at his lot, and then he has some pictures of stuff. And he also had the first 3 Ardoon Grimoire books.
Oh,
And then he had the white box minus the box. He had the 3 books from the OD&D set.
Oh.
Yeah, and I said, And he was asking $500 for it all. And I was like, well, I'll give you $150. And he took it, and so I got all that stuff for $150.
wow!
And I was very happy to get it.
Yes.
What a score, man!
Definitely.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm looking on Craigslist now since he said that.
It was quite a
Tim, you're
surprise.
my new best friend.
It's selling the 3 icons, dragons that they came out with, Red Wizards of the Coast, the Red Colossal, the Legend of Drizzt scenario pack with the white dragon. Was that the ice dragon on the white dragon? And then the blue dragon, all for $250.
Right? Yeah, usually Craigslist is people selling like 90s Image comics for $5 each or something. It's not usually the place to find great scores, but sometimes I guess this guy he's actually a deacon at his local church, and he used to play in the 80s, but he just stopped playing completely. He's been sitting on this stuff since then. And once he heard I was going to use it for an after-school program, he was all over it. So it was a good deal.
Awesome.
Ooh, here's a good one for the listeners out there if they want to call the person in Texas. $200 for a basic rule book, 1981, Player's Manual, 1983, and then he has all the AD&D books. He has the A1 Module 2, A4, B1, B3, B4, B1 to 9 Adventure, C1, C2, S2, I3, UK1, X1, X3, X5, EX1, EX2, N1, CM3, G1 to 3, U1, U2, U3, D&D 2nd edition, all the books, plus Splat books, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. D&D, and the Dark Fairy Troll, this must be Roll Aids, he didn't put Roll Aids on it. Goblins and Evil Ruins, 1983, all for $200.
That's not bad.
I had that.
You know what's funny? You were reading off all the module codes. I knew exactly every one. I was thinking in my
Picture
head,
the covers, yeah.
That's Hidden Shrine of Tomorrowjon. That's Tomb Horrors. That's the it's Against the Cult of Reptile God. Yep, I know him.
And then someone's selling 4th edition for $15. Getting that. Yeah. So that's that. Let's head into some sage advice.
Sage advice.
Sage advice. Come on, Nick. Sage.
Sage advice. We're gonna have some sage advice.
You had some cats in the background going. Meow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we got a bunch of voicemails this week.
Did you say we had a plethora?
Probably a plethora, yeah. First one is a really important one. It's for a good cause, and we're going to be playing on all the podcasts. It comes from Ronald Korn, and he set up a program for kids after school, much like how you were talking about, Tim.
Awesome.
His is really detailed. I'll let him speak for himself because he recorded the voicemail earlier for me, so let's just get right into that.
Hey, everybody out there in podcast land. This is Ronald Korn, principal at Haddon Heights High School and amateur gamer. I should say amateur game designer. Recently, I kind of hit the wires with a request or a plea for old school gaming, and so some supplies to Haddon Heights High School. Trying to get a gaming group off the ground, and certainly budgets are hard in high school, so we're looking for anyone out there who could possibly donate some supplies. We're looking for anything that you have, anything that ranging from minis to dice to old school books, any condition, any edition, any game. Really, we're looking, I'm trying to raise a new generation of gamers, and looking at any means and any available way to do so. Especially looking at playing some of the classics. So if you have any AD&D materials or basic Dungeons & Dragons, any first edition, second edition, old player's handbook, old DM's guide, old adventures, it doesn't matter, whatever condition, we will certainly take what you have. Again, Ronald Korn, Principal, Haddon Heights, looking for donations to help support our gaming club. Appreciate anything you can do. Thanks. Hi, Ronald Korn again. And if you have any, if you would like to contact me, I can be reached by email at ronaldkorn@gmail.com. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. I am on Facebook as well as at Ronald Korn, and I appear on some of the blogs as Demicorn, DEMICORN. You can find me at the Kobold Press blog site. I tend to lurk there a little bit, and every once in a while on the the other gaming forums.
Well, there you have it. I know he's been working hard with that project in the school, and the parents are supporting him, which is very good because a lot of parents are usually against these games. And he has headed up a large program there at his school, and the school is not really supporting, obviously, because it's not really a school-funded program, but as principal, he's actually, organizing the club in his free time. So he's just looking for some help for these kids. So I figured it'd be a good idea. So far, he just replied to me. He had got some pretty good stuff from Richard Lorio from Rogue Games, which does Colonial Gothic. Wolfgang Bauer donated a ton of stuff from Coburg Press, including his new Deep Magic Kickstart. John Wick donated all his PDFs, and he got a ton of material from Fred Hicks at Evil Hat. And Frog God Games donated a complete set of core books, adventures, and even a screen.
Wow.
So if you guys are interested in donating, hit up Ronald Korn, that's Korn with a C, and spelled like the actual corn, at gmail.com, and he'd appreciate just anything for these kids. So I think it's a good cause.
It is. That's great.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in my experience with that, and I'll have to hook up with Ronald so we can share some ideas. The way my program started after school, a few years ago, I actually started just as part of a grant-funded after-school program running a gaming club, and we just used 4th edition, and it wasn't very popular. Hey, we only got a couple people interested, a couple kids showed up, and then they stopped coming. And then this year, some kids asked me to run. They're like, "Oh, I heard you play D&D. Can you run something for us?" And I said, "Sure, but it's going to be 1st edition." They didn't know what that meant. They didn't care. So I started running it, and just for fun after school on Fridays. And then 8 people showed up, and then 12 people showed up, and now we have, by the end of the year, we had like 38 kids showing up.
Wow.
And it actually
That's
became
wonderful.
an official school-sponsored activity that was under this 21st Century Grant program. And so we did get some money for supplies. Mostly I donated my own stuff anyway, but just the fact that we could actually pay for additional staff to help me out. And we are all, one of the younger teachers is actually running a summer game design workshop for teenagers as well, using the same funding. So it just exploded in popularity this year. It was great.
Wonderful. That is wonderful.
The only other thing I've heard of is, I think, who was the owner of Necromancer Games? Is that Bill Webb? I can't think.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He, a couple years ago when I spoke to him, he had started a program in the summer camp where his son went for Sword and Wizardry. And they had about 100-something kids showing up for camp just to play the game. So it was
Whoa.
yeah. So he organized like this massive campaign with all these DMs and everything. So that's the only thing I've ever heard of a mass scale like that. So
Yeah, that was what was great about our program is it started out with just me DMing, and then it became me and one of my colleagues DMing, and then we had so many kids, we're like, well, we've got to teach you how to DM. And about half a dozen kids took up the challenge to basically learn the rules and become a DM, and that's great. I mean, that's where you really see the skills, the academic and social skills at play when kids take over control of the game and run their own campaigns. It's awesome.
I hope the kids picked up, the rules aren't solid in the book, You can always.
Oh yes, they none of them were slavishly following the rules for sure.
Yeah, I tell you, because some DMs like that are pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking about situations, remember that situation I told you in my gaming group, Nick, with that DM that was a pain in the butt?
Oh yeah.
That situation escalated even further.
It went to the next level, huh?
Oh yeah, he took it to another level because we all decided to leave the gaming group and go form our own gaming group.
Oh really?
Yeah,
well, good for you.
And then we had enough people to run 3 groups practically.
Wow.
So we left because more people joined, and then he decided to go down to the store and try to get us kicked out of the store, but it backfired on him, and he wound up getting kicked out.
Wow. What a creep. Okay.
Yep.
He tried to say like we were threatening him not to come to the store and everything, and all we said was it might not be comfortable if you come to the store because people like to have fun and not sit in silence because they're annoyed at somebody. He took it as a threat, and he went to the game owner's store and said that we were threatening him, and they looked at him and went talk to us, and they said no, and they threw him out.
What a creep.
Yeah, the people at the Reaper Gaming Store are pretty good people, so. Anyway, it's enough of that. Thanks, Ronald Corn. We got another voicemail. I'll play that one.
Ian Big Balls, I have a question for you. When I started playing, there was a real sense of wonder. So now when I DM, I'd like to recapture that old school feeling of not knowing exactly what to expect. I don't know if you had any advice on how to capture that as a DM. Meaning, as a player, you would come across a troll, and now as a veteran, you would know exactly what to do. Same thing with, say, a fire giant or anything that you've run across before. I don't know if you have any advice, other creatures, other resources to use to kind of get that sense of dread. As you may remember, when you first started playing, you were careful but kind of excited because you weren't sure what was going to happen. Any advice is good. I appreciate it. Great show. Keep up the good work, fella.
Oh, thank you, DM Big Balls.
Okay.
Yeah,
Basketballs, right? Yeah.
Yeah. He is right to the fact that you played the game for so long that veterans are just like meh. They come across a powerful monster and like, oh, it's a troll, meh. Fire giant, meh. As far as making it like that again, that's kind of hard to do. But as a GM, you can always just switch things around, describe creatures differently, add different abilities to them, let the players surmise what they think the creature is, but never actually tell them what the creature is, so they never know.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest key. I've seen that even with my kids who are 12 and 9 years old. Even though they haven't really been playing for very long, they still know what an orc is, for example. And so if you say there's 3 orcs, that's completely different than describing 3 humanoids with saliva dripping from their teeth and just never saying the name. It makes it completely mysterious.
Exactly.
yeah.
Nick, any advice?
Well, I think you really hit it on the head that sometimes after a while for us old guys, we not jaded, but we just get used to certain things. And some of the things you could do is, just go with the description of the creature. Don't necessarily say what it is. And that helps a little bit. I think also if you can just kind of shake it up a little and kind of and try to do something a little different. I got to push this anomalous subsurface environment. It's really something different that you can put into your D&D game. It might not be for everybody. It might be a little too gonzo, but it's worth looking into. Right. And if anything, it'll give you some ideas how to run your current game. Maybe you could borrow some ideas from it. Borrow some monsters from it. So, trying to capture that lightning in a bottle, and try to do it a second time around can be kind of difficult.
Yeah, the best thing to do is describe what the players guess and never tell them if they're right or not.
Yeah.
Also, try to mine for ideas in some obscure sources. Yes, most players have read through the monster manuals. Have they read every issue of Dragon? Probably not. Dungeon? Probably not. So there's a good place. Or if you want to take it a step further, go into White Dwarf. You can find some things that players haven't seen there. Pull out your Judges Guild, your Roll Aids. They think because when people think they're playing Dungeons and Dragons, they're going to be expecting stuff made by TSR, not stuff that's compatible from other companies. So sometimes you can catch them off guard with that. Or you can take existing adventures and modules and just put a little bit of a different spin on them. Like in my home game, I'm running Castle Amber in Ravenloft. One of my players actually said, we know what to do. Like so far in the campaign, they hit a domain, they know they're supposed to kill the Lord and move on. They're in Castle Amber. They have no idea what they're doing. They're like, they are so baffled by everything they've seen. They're old school gamers, but they've never actually played through this module. So Castle Amber is one of those wacky modules with just a bunch of random stuff. And when you think about it, it's like, why is this stuff here? So you use the ecological plot holes that a lot of modules may have and use it to your advantage. Why did the Rakasha never actually leave the one room with the fireplace?
They want warm.
Right. My players were actually asking that to the point where they actually thought everything in the Castle Amber wasn't able to actually leave the room. That was part of the curse. That's what the conclusion they came to, because they're like, this makes no sense. Why wouldn't the ogre open the door? So,
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So they were using a lot. So they just got horribly confused by it's kind of just a really large place with a bunch of random stuff thrown in, and they're trying to make sense of it when there is no sense to be made. And now they instead of like, they're just trying to figure out what they're supposed to do as opposed to just, okay, we go through here, figure out who's in charge and kill them. So, but
Really?
Yep.
I also recommend James Raggi's Esoteric Creature Generator. I don't know if you guys have used
I
that.
have that.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun for creating new monsters, and even just the advice up front. The first few pages of that book give you advice about how to make old monsters seem new and unusual.
Yeah, just warp them, change their abilities around.
Yeah,
Yep.
Do it.
absolutely. Hackmaster is really good at that. The old Hackmaster 4th edition, the Monster Matrix, all different ways you can like really, twist regular monsters. Like I made hobgoblins. I got to a point where my players were just like slicing through things left and right. So like I beefed up the hobgoblins. I made them one-eyed red Venusian hobgoblins. The Venusian ones, they have a 70% chance of exploding after you kill them.
That's right. Yeah, they explode.
So,
Yeah.
so that kind of threw them for a loop. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of different material out there, kind of, at least for monsters, traps. Grimtooth's traps, another good way. You can find all that stuff. If you're looking for new trap material, that's really good to make the farm.
Anyway, let's get to our next voicemail. And here it comes.
Hey guys, this is DM Keith, long-time listener, second-time caller. I've actually seen or listened to every single one of your episodes in order. So anyway, I was calling for some advice. Like many of your listeners, I've played D&D back in the days when I was 14, 16 or 18 or so in the 80s, and I took a very long break and then started up again recently, which has been very fun. However, as it turns out, my wife is 100% anti-D&D. So what I basically had to do is kind of sneak around a little bit. I've done some things like I covered my books with plain brown paper, worked for a little bit. However, she saw it the other day, and when she saw me, she started asking me how my unicorn was doing and whether my elf had killed the goblin and so on and so forth. So I was wondering if you guys have any tips or ideas about how to get your D&D kicks in without drawing too much attention to yourself. Any advice would be appreciated. Keep the shows coming. Thanks. Bye.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's going to happen with a lot of people, especially married couples, especially when one of them's not into gaming, and they're going to make fun of it, especially if they were people that thought it was stupid. So luckily I don't have that problem, but as far as just don't talk about it, don't have the books out, don't let your wife see the books. If she happens to see them, I don't know, just like you said, nothing you can do about it.
Right, and if it's nothing more than her just making little joking comments or whatever, just roll with them. Maybe make fun of the game yourself. Don't let it bother you, because not everyone's going to like it. Some people are going to think what we do and when we enjoy our games are silly. Much like some people will think people that paint themselves orange and black and go to Bengals games or football games would we think they may be silly for going out. I mean,
Yeah, always say if she says, "How's your unicorn?" Say, "I don't know. I got to put my nerd glasses on to see where it is."
Right. Or you just start rambling on in a, well, actually, let me tell you about my character. And, yes. And poke fun at it yourself. Don't take your gaming too seriously, and don't let it, your wife offend you, because I doubt she's like, yeah, she may think it's silly or whatever, but it's not like she's saying, oh no, you're going to burn in hell. We need to go to church right now and throw some holy water on you. Right. So, yeah, just roll with the punches. And where I game at the guy's house, his wife's not really a gamer, and she'll come down when we're gaming and just try to embarrass him and make him horribly uncomfortable. And we all get a good laugh out of it and go with it. But she's not like telling him, no, you can't play or anything like that. So
you can always take the childish method, find something that she likes, and make fun of it back. I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, there's nothing wrong with some good-natured ribbing. There's a difference between if it was like, no, you can't play, as opposed to, oh, I think that's silly, and I'm just going to tweak you a little bit about it. So.
And you can always say to her, you know what? I'm playing with unicorns in fantasy. At least I'm not going to the strip bar looking at chicks and giving them dollars.
That's why I generally say to my wife, she's perfectly fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's not a gamer at all for the most part. I mean, she tried to play a couple of times, but it's not like she makes fun of it or anything. She's perfectly fine with it, and she, compared to other pursuits, a man of my age could be doing.
Exactly.
I mean, this is rather tame. And also for the fact that I am at least trying to include my kids into something that is creative, that is fun, and for the most part, it's safe.
Yeah,
so
I don't care either.
For his wife to make fun of it, yeah, you know what, you're going to get that. That's so what? Big deal. I mean, but if it gets to the point where I mean, they say you can't play, I don't know.
You guys are way nicer about this than I would be, because this that's a big deal if someone just is blatantly mocking what you're interested in. It sounds like a respect issue in the relationship.
Yeah.
It's a big deal for me. I wouldn't just give it a pass. I wouldn't say it's the same as like making fun of someone for the shirt they're wearing. This is like a fundamental issue in the relationship. I would have a big problem with it personally.
So what your advice would be to him then? What?
Explain to her why it's important. Why is this gaming hobby important to you? What do you gain from it? And if it's that important to you and you can explain that to her and she still doesn't respect it, then you need to work on that relationship. That's a big issue.
We don't know how far it's gone and how long it is. It sounds like it's just some natured fun that she's having, but
yeah, I don't know. We don't know how far she's gone as far as her, poking fun at him. So.
No, we'll just give it a simple one. Just get a divorce, dude. No.
No. Let's not do that.
No. Maybe
not yet.
No, maybe they need a good role-playing session where they act out what their frustrations are.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, I think this was some wacky sitcom plot at some point.
Oh, probably. But I do think if
fighter.
The issue, I wonder if the issue with the relationship thing isn't one of genre too. Like maybe she doesn't respect the idea that he's playing a fantasy game, because I know my wife doesn't play role-playing games. She understands it and she doesn't have a problem with it or anything, but she is interested in other genres other than fantasy, and she's more likely to join into a game that would be like a sci-fi adventure or like an espionage adventure than a high fantasy game. So if she's making fun of the unicorns, maybe she has an issue with the childhood fantasy tropes, right. And maybe she'd be more amenable to a game that was something that she was actually interested in genre-wise.
Right.
Or
that may be so.
She could be reverting back to high school days when people just made fun of it, and maybe she was part of the cool clique.
True.
Yeah.
That just made fun of it because it was cool to make fun of it. I don't know.
I'm trying to remember. I've listened to way too many gaming podcasts, but someone was talking about how they played some D&D at like a friend's house or a summer camp or somewhere, and then their parents though was like, "Oh no, you can't play D&D. That's evil."
From the devil.
But so when they went to the bookstore, they saw Star Frontiers. So they're like, "Can I play that?" They're like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah.
So it could just be something like, well, D&D, that's for nerds, because they have preconceived notions of what Dungeons and
but the
Dragons.
Star Wars thing looks pretty cool.
You're right. It could be something like that. Maybe there's some preconceived notions with just the name Dungeons and Dragons.
Probably it's the whole stereotypes.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about my parents' generation. I mean, they never openly mocked me, but my dad would probably make some snide comments about Dungeons and Dragons as far as the genre is concerned. Yet he and my mom would go to like How to Host a Murder mystery dinners, and they would do role playing in those How to Host a Murder mysteries. And so they would play role playing games, but they wouldn't think of it that way because it wasn't called Dungeons and Dragons.
They were LARPing.
They were LARPing. That was exactly.
Exactly.
How to Host a Murder mystery is nothing more than a LARP.
Yep.
One of my friends growing up, every time we played D&D, his mom flipped out and took his books away. But when we played Twilight 2000, she was like, "Oh, that's fine."
Yeah, weird. Yeah.
It's like, dude, what's the difference? It just doesn't say Dungeons and Dragons.
Twilight 2000 never had a bad Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah, good point.
All right, let's get to our last voicemail here.
Hey, it's EcoStalk calling. I guess, first of all, been enjoying the podcast for quite a long time. Been enjoying your forums for a much shorter time. But we'll get pretty much to the point right away. And that is, I've been messing around with adventure design for a little while here. And the question that I've got for you guys is, do you prefer sort of a short one-evening blitz-style adventure, or do you like sort of a longer adventures that require multiple sessions to play, where you leave the party hanging in limbo for weeks at a time before you get back together? Interested in your thoughts. Thanks. Bye.
That was actually Andrew from End Magazine, one of the editors and writers.
Oh, cool.
And Geeko stopped on our forums, and he wrote me and said, "Hope you got my voicemail. I was chasing dogs through the bushes at the time." That's what,
well.
Sounds weird, and he's like out of breath. He said he was running after his dog that got loose. So I was like, that's a good time to call. But who wants to tackle that question?
As far as like either one shots or like a multiple session adventures, doesn't matter to me as long as the adventure is solid. It's a good adventure. I that's what I look for. Does it have an interesting story? Does it have good use of monsters, traps, tricks, riddles? Does it have interesting NPCs in it? Does it, when you read through it, is it logical? Does it flow? Those are the important ones to me. As far as length, it doesn't matter to me at all.
Okay.
I like to read the longer ones, but given the realities of my life, the one shots are actually more practical. Whether I'm writing my own adventures or whether I'm reading or buying somebody else's, I can more easily run one shots than I can run an ongoing campaign, because even if I play with my kids, after the first session or two, they want to create all new characters and go to an all new setting. They don't have the attention span for a long campaign right now.
I personally like long campaigns. I don't like just doing one shots personally, because I hate rolling up a character, then next week rolling up another character. So that's usually why I tend to DM, because I can just keep things going on and on and on and on. And people like that, so they don't have to DM. So, yeah. Matt?
Yeah, I can go either way with it. What my group actually does is we'll have like our main game that's the longer campaign, but when we start having people unable to make it or having to cancel out for our gaming session, that's when we start doing one-shots of a different game. Like we one-shotted Top Secret SI. We said that, and everyone will have their Top Secret SI character, but only those that show up will play in the game. It'll be done in one session, and so that way we kind of have a campaign, but it's not like it's the main focus with those characters. They're like they're more like a sitcom or a television show season.
Oh, okay.
So that way it's like everything's self-contained, but you could have a larger overarching story of the season intermixed with our main campaign that goes week to week. So we go both ways just depending on attendance. But when everyone's there, it's the massive grand campaign. We all love it. But when 2 or 3 people can't show up, we still want a game. So that's when we start doing one-shots.
Right. Cool.
And I've been playing since 1981, not continuously, but frequently. I've never actually seen a campaign come to an end, and either as a DM or as a player, it's always just kind of petered out because people stopped showing up, or I stopped going because something in my life changed. Like I've never actually seen a campaign come to a close the way it maybe was planned to ever in my life.
I'd say I have an 80% ratio of closing my campaigns out. I can't leave it hanging.
Yeah, it's been frustrating.
Even if I have to like end it with 4 players out of like 8, I'll end it just so I'd have it ended.
Yeah,
my players tend to end the campaigns for me, like, oh, I don't know, destroying the whole dungeon in itself.
Yeah, it's people get annoyed. They just start out.
Yeah, I'd say, okay, yeah, you destroyed the Temple of Elemental Evil. Good job. Quest is over.
The end.
Right.
The end.
Ta-da! Anyway, so before we get on to the emails that we have here, Nick, we've skipped over your star segment.
Oh, that's okay. I'm used to it.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Okay, anyway, yes, we do have a couple of stars coming from iTunes. And to remind everybody, you can look us up on iTunes. Just go to the iTunes store, type in Roll for Initiative in the search, and you can click your way over to doing reviews. And also we have all of the podcasts out there for your listening pleasure. So we have 2 reviews, one from Ham Taker, gives us a 5-star review. Ham. He said, like Car Talk for D&D. Okay. I'm on episode 43 right now, and I'm dead set on listening to them all. These guys have a lot of experience with RPGs and have a lot of great insight. The old school spirit is alive with these guys, and they're doing a great job sharing it. So thank you, Ham Taker. Bring me a sandwich, please. And we have another one. It's 5 stars from Tebow Max. And he says, road trip becomes a pilgrimage to forgotten realms.
Okay.
And he says, several months ago, I was preparing to drive from work from Mobile, Alabama to Canton, Michigan, and back, about 4 days of driving time. I decided to look up podcasts to download for my journey, and I stumbled across Roll for Initiative. As most of the previous reviewers, I was a child of the 70s, 80s. Because of the tedium of my work life, I have been looking for a creative outlet for quite some time. The RFI podcast blew my mind for nearly 4 straight days, illuminating AD&D information in an entertaining forum and unlocking my creativity to build a complex new campaign world that the 1980s version of me would have never dreamed possible. I had started forming a gaming group to play, but quickly realized the logistics for getting a group together somewhat regularly would be nearly impossible. Boom! RFI comes through again with their Roll20Net podcast with a couple of the creators of a new online tabletop. Always, thanks RFI for showing me the path back to my DM creativity. You are not only giving us a walk down memory lane, but you are giving us the tools to reawaken our imagination in a way that only AD&D can. Cheers, DM T. Bonimus Maximus.
Cool.
That is an awesome 5-star review, and we're so glad that we can inspire people like you to come back, enjoy the game, and also finding ways of, getting in contact with players like Roll20 and other forums out there where you can, find players, at least play through an online type environment. So thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you very much for the reviews, and keep them coming.
Yes.
Okay, so our first email comes from Dave the Moderately Neato. He's upgraded since his last iTunes for Dave the Cool.
The Moderately Neato. Okay.
He upgraded himself.
Very cool.
He was sitting, basically I'm going to sum the email up. Basically he was sitting there reading, he looked at page 104 and under the clerk's turning undead table, and he noticed that paladins were listed there. Now, he wanted to know when his evil cleric can, turn a do-gooder paladin, would the DM use the same chart as a regular undead or equate the paladin's level to hit dice? Should the paladin of any level be treated as special? What if the unholy roller is sufficient level to where a turn would destroy the paladin if successful? Should I toss in a saving throw?
Ooh.
So that's what he wants to know.
Ooh.
He's never done anything like this, and I've never really noticed it myself. But I would think that the Paladin's level would equal his hit dice, so...
Yeah, I would think so too. And if that evil cleric is high enough, he could have a chance of like destroying a first level paladin, huh?
Yeah. Then he asked about this I didn't think made sense. Could a good cleric use their turning ability to command a paladin like the evil could control the undead versus destroying them? No, I don't think.
No, that's not how it works.
No. And then he says that's not even touching the idea of neutral cleric, but a neutral cleric has to pick either one when they first start, so they have to pick one side or the other. They can't just do both.
Right.
Unless the DM rules it that way, of course. But I would use his level as his hit dice.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think it would be as special on the table.
Tim, what do you have to say?
I think I would go along with the hit dice, the level of the paladin equaling the hit dice. But I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know if I would allow it either. I mean, if the player were playing an evil cleric and really talked to me in advance that I want to use the turning ability to do this, maybe. But in general, I would say it wouldn't apply to paladins. I would say it wouldn't work that way. I would just say use a spell instead.
Cool. All right, our next email, thanks Dave the Moderately Neato, comes in from DM Kojo.
Hey!
Doesn't leave a voicemail, but...
At least you wrote in.
Yeah. Hey guys, wanted your help figuring out a system to tracking some of the smaller details of my adventure. I'm a detailed-oriented DM. Yes, he is a very detailed. I know that from the forums, and I like to prepare very thoroughly for my game. This includes statting out all NPCs, stocking the bookshelves of any room with randomly rolled books, and determining the type of gemstones found in the loot. I hate just saying you find 3 gems worth 200 gold pieces each. Well, I would never say that anyway, but... So I use the tables on pages 25-26 of the DMG guide, DMG, to roll up each type of gem, their value, and which I record in my adventure notes. My players and I love this level of detail it brings to the adventure. My problem I run into with gems, magical items, and other valuables is the party gets them and writes them down as loot, but needs outside help or time to appraise the valuables and identify the magic items. When the time finally comes in the adventure to do that, I often find I have forgotten where they have gotten those items from and can't find the values in my notes. Any tips on how to run this without just telling them the value when they find them? Any help is greatly appreciated, DM Kojo. Yeah, that's kind of tough sometimes.
Yeah, actually, I have kind of a way around that. Let's say they killed a basilisk, okay, and it goes through their treasure, and you find such and such items, and you find a few gems, and maybe a couple potions, and maybe a dagger, okay, and they can't identify any of this stuff, so they're gonna, when they get back to town or wherever, they're gonna identify it then. One of the things that you could do is it's not necessarily a metagaming thing, but at least it's a way of tracking where they found the stuff, is that you let them know, hey, you found this in area number 8, Basilisk. Write that down next to the loot, so I know where to refer to my notes later on, okay? And they're fine with that. That's how I usually do it. I usually designate an area on the map, always it's numbered, or whatever encounter is. I say, hey, okay, this is encounter blah, 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 that you found the stuff, so if we get back to it later, let me know, and then I can go through my notes. So that's a good way of referencing it.
I do color codes.
Okay.
Like if you find a dagger, I black dagger, blue dagger. Just the color has no real reference to the game. It's just for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if they find a gem, I say, okay, it's a green gem, but it's not really a green gem. Just write down green gem. So when they go back later and say, oh, I appraised the green gem, I tell them what it's worth, and then just in more detail. So that way I track it that way. Matt?
Yeah, for gems, I don't actually bother rolling their value until they try to sell them. I mean, that's my easy fix. I say, you found this many gems. And then if they want a description, I'll describe them, but I don't roll for I'll give them like, oh, this one's blue, this one's brown, whatever. That means nothing. Then I roll the value when they actually try to either get them appraised or sell them. As for magic items, however, I tend to be a little stingy at times when handing them out. So usually they're not going to be running around with giant bags of magic items that are unidentified. And the way my players are too, they typically, the first thing they want to do is figure out what it is. So they don't sit on unidentified magic items for long.
No.
So I really haven't ran into that problem yet. But I have ran into the issue with the gems, and where they're finding these gems and they just have a ton of gems and they're just sitting on them. Who knows? At this point they might have forgot they had the gems, and it's just tucked away on one of the characters' data on the character sheets. And it's like, oh yeah, we have all these gems. What are we going to do with them? I don't know. So, but yeah, I like the idea of like either giving them some sort of identifying feature, be it color or like maybe this like an ornate handle or just something visual that they would notice to identify that you can actually just reference into your notes. I like that. But
cool. Tim?
As a player and a DM, I think the whole negotiation and trying to sell gems is one of the most boring parts of the game. I think that slows the game way down. And so I tend to, and in the games I've played in, most other DMs have run it this way with me. They give you a kind of a set value for the gems. Say they look to be approximately 100 gold pieces worth of gems. And then when you try to sell them, if you get to that point where the DM even requires that, then there might be a negotiation up or down on the value. So really, we try to make that part of the game less time-consuming, although once in a while I will throw in some kind of exotic gem, and that will have some mysterious allure. So I would say 95% of the time, it's just I tell them the basic gold piece amount so we can move on, and occasionally there's like a rare thing in there that we got to check out. For magic items, I'm like Matt. I'm pretty stingy about giving away magic items, and I try to make it – if they find one, they might not know they found one, but I will have them write down some description of it in a way that I will remember what that is when they do get it appraised or when they have somebody use a spell to figure out what it does.
Cool. There you go, Kojo. There's some ideas for a tracking system. Take what you need. Okay, our next email comes from DM David D. He just finished listening to our Druid issue, and it got him fired up to look at the Druid differently. While listening, it occurred to me that Druid's neutral alignment and the balance of nature attitude is not unlike some of the primitive Native American tribes. They travel with the seasons and migration of the buffalo. Place the spiritual value in the nature around them, and they also can be kick-butt warriors. Of course, Native Americans didn't have magic like Druids, but they did have shamans. It's not exact, but I thought if a player adopted a Native American attitude instead of a hippie tree hugger, it would make for a much cooler character, like Johnny Depp's character in the new Lone Ranger movie coming out. Or if you even allowed elves to be druids and dyed their skin blue, you can play them like Na'vi from James Cameron's Avatar. Maybe I've gone too far. Anyway, keep up the great work. I guess you could do that. Yeah, it's your campaign.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. Actually, that's a pretty good point I think he made.
Yeah. So there.
I like it.
I like it too.
Yeah, we approve.
We approve. I didn't get a harumph from that guy. Harumph. All right.
And our last email, finally. Hello, I recently purchased the first edition AD&D book from eBay, and I managed to convince my group to play this edition. The reason is because the only edition translated in our country was second edition, and so on. I started listening to the podcast last year, and I'm a big fan of RFI. I started to build my campaign to the group, and the main evil guy will be an evil druid. Sorry, I had to say it that way. And I was surprised that in this edition he cannot transform into an animal like other editions. So my question is it listed somewhere that a druid can transform into an animal? Maybe some Dragon magazine says otherwise? Thanks for your help. Big time fan. Love you and your staff. DM Idriano? E-D-R-I-N-O. Idriano? I don't know. I think so. I'm sorry about that.
We have a staff?
Yeah. By the way, orcs have pig faces even in our country.
Sweet.
Yeah, we have a staff, and that's you, Nick. You're our staff.
Oh, sweet.
And I guess Matt's our staff, too.
I'm trying to think. I'd have to look at the Unearthed Arcana. I couldn't remember. Now, I know they got the Conjuring of Elementals. I know they can control certain animals. I don't remember that when they get up to a high enough level, they can transform into an animal.
Yeah, I'm looking at Unearthed Arcana right now, and I don't see any druid spells that allow animal transformation.
I didn't know if it was a special ability or a spell. They don't have like polymorph to animal spell at all?
I was thinking about the ability, how second edition has that ability for the druid to actually just transform a shape into a certain type of animal. And as he grows in levels, he can change into different shapes of animals. Well, if it's not in the game and you really want it into the game, put
it in there.
Yeah, bring in some of the stuff from second edition.
Yeah, wouldn't hurt.
Doesn't matter. It's pretty close.
Yeah, that might be like a class ability. Maybe when they get up to 9th or 10th level, they could start to transform. They could transform into some sort of animal.
Maybe once per day you could turn into a wolf for I don't know a certain amount of time and do certain things, and that's it.
Bear or a wombat.
A wombat.
I don't know.
A wabbit wombat.
A wabbit wombat.
Ah, yeah, right. Anyway.
Okay, I found some. Well, at 16th level, they gain the ability to alter appearance at will. With appearance alterations accomplished in one segment, with height and weight by 50%, age. So yeah, basically they can alter themselves.
They cannot polymorph per se.
Right.
No, they can turn into a human or humanoid sort, but it doesn't say anything about animal transformation.
Right.
And that's at 16th level. That's high level.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they can do some planar travel. They can do some crazy stuff at the really high levels.
Yeah. But that, like Vince said, if you want to introduce that into your game from second edition, doesn't mean you can't.
Right.
Yeah.
It's your game.
Yeah.
It's your game. Do what you want, dude.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It's what a lot of newer players seem to forget when they look back at the older editions. It's not in the book. I can't do it.
As long as if you do add it, as long as it makes sense and it doesn't like throw off the game so much, it comes unbalanced. And,
So that's one of the things with playing with kids, whether it's the teenagers in the after-school program or my own kids. They are always asking to create their own spells, which I've never seen an adult player in any of my games ever asked to do.
Yeah.
Huh, good point.
That is true. A lot of players I've never seen do that. I've one player in my group has been asking for that, but like Tim said, not a lot of people do it.
But kids just do it naturally. Like, hey, can I do this instead? And then you just kind of make an equivalent based on a power or a spell that already exists. Sure, why not?
You say no.
You say no. It's not.
Sign with DM. Haha.
It's not allowed. Your imagination is not your boundary.
No, go play 4th edition. You have all the powers you want then.
There you go. Okay, so Sage Advice, rfistaff@gmail.com, 570-865-4210, the hotline. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/RFI Podcast, website, rfipodcast.com. There's a new article up by DM Harold. He finally put up the Paladins one. We're talking about playing Paladins. Pretty interesting. Take a read. And that's that. We'll head into Table Manners.
Typical. Of all the evil creatures in the world, I'd like to find one with table manners.
What are you kidding me? I spent years cultivating the worst table manners on the planet.
Table manners.
Okay. Table Manners this week. We're going to talk about the ninja.
That is right. So we got to do Tomodachi Konnichiwa.
Tomodachi Konnichiwa.
Hello, friends, in Japanese.
Yes.
The ninja class, a very difficult class for a lot of DMs to officiate, I should say.
Yes.
To play. It's also a very difficult class for a player to play, and it can interrupt the adventure quite a bit because there's a lot of secrecy involving a ninja class. Mm-hmm. So if you pick up your Oriental Adventures and pull open the class, you will see that a ninja, not only do you have to qualify for a normal base class that's in the, such as a Wujin or a...
was it Bushi?
Bushi, I couldn't think of the name offhand.
Or
Bushi,
Yakuza.
Sohei, Yakuza, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, you can't be a samurai because that'd be dishonorable and you'd have to kill yourself. But
yes.
Once you qualify for those classes, you have to also qualify to be a ninja. which has a 15, I believe, in 2 of the abilities, and then a 14 in another one.
Yeah.
Just trying to grab the page here.
Yeah, page 19.
Thank you.
And you have to have a 14 in Dex and Charisma and a 15 in Intelligence.
Yes.
So not easy to qualify for.
No. So once you do qualify for a ninja, when you're rolling up a ninja, it's a little bit different. So your ninjas don't exist in Oriental Adventures officially. Well, officially they're in the book, but as far as
in the game world, yes.
As far as the campaign world, ninjas are a myth, a legend. They're like the stories that they tell the kids, the ninjas will come get you. They're like ghosts. People that, according to the abilities, can go through walls and they can hold their breath and walk on water. It's just like these amazing people, but they really don't exist. They're just stories and legends. The ninja only gets 1 to 2 hit points per level, but you get the hit points from your other class.
Right.
Which kind of stinks in a way because you still have to divide it. And then you add your Constitution bonus at the end.
But you don't get your Constitution bonus for your ninja class, though.
Right. You only get it for the other class. So if you're a Bushi, you'd be at the base hit points of, what was it, 1d, 5 to, I think it was, what the example I listed here?
1 to 5 for Bushi and 1 to 2 for ninja, so you're anywhere from 2 to 7.
Yeah. So your average hit points starting at first level is 2 to 7.
Yep.
And you get to have proficiencies for a ninja. You can only use ninja-like proficiencies, meaning their weapons. If you use any other proficiency slot to use a ninja ability or weapon, you lose honor. Honor is a big thing for ninjas, apparently.
Yeah, apparently so. I guess if you fail a mission, you lose a boatload of honor.
Yeah, you're revealed, you as a ninja. If someone else figures out, for each character that figures out, you lose honor.
Yeah, you can. They can know you're a ninja, but they can't figure out your true identity, or you lose honor. So you're basically like a masked vigilante.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's best that you keep yourself secret and stay in the shadows. Like I recently had an online campaign, The Legend of Fin Fang Foom, last year, and I had a player that was playing a ninja, and he actually came up with a pretty interesting concept for a character. It was a female Bushi, and she was kind of from royalty, but she was a ninja in disguise, and she had her throat cut, so she couldn't speak. So he would, use... It was kind of weird how he did it, but he would try to sneak around as a ninja at night. He wound up getting himself killed because he went off in the middle of the night to do ninja things, and, at first level doing ninja things by yourself, it's not that easy. But,
hey Vince, I have a question about that. When that player played the ninja in that campaign, did they play it like straight from this version of the ninja, or did you make any adjustments to the Oriental Adventures rules?
I played it straight from this ninja right here.
Because there's the other ninja from Dragon Magazine too.
Yeah,
predates
and
this
we'll
one.
talk about that one in a little.
I'm sure
bit.
someone will bring up. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, yeah. Nick has got that under control. Don't worry.
I can't wait to talk about that one.
I usually stick by the book for the ninja class because I feel it's balanced as enough compared to the other classes in the setting. The only thing I'm going to say from experience, I'll talk about from experience. In the past, DMs have trouble running this class, and I had a little trouble running this class in the past because for the ninja to get experience, he has to do ninja things or go on missions and use his skills as a ninja. If he doesn't use those, he doesn't gain experience in that class. He only gains experience in his base class. So as a DM, you have to not only create your adventure, you have to create a side adventure in the adventure for the ninja.
Yeah, that could be a real pain.
Yeah, otherwise, unless your player is running around at night saying, oh, he's going to go sneak around and do this and that, you're going to have a lot of side adventures with this player during the adventure. Yeah. So a lot of DMs don't let characters play ninjas.
Right. And it seems perfect for a solo adventure, but within a campaign with other players, it seems really tough to manage.
It's kind of like playing the assassin class, but having a lot of trouble playing the assassin class.
But yeah.
I've played the assassin class, and I kind of just stuck to the whole thing. I have a merchant running around, and when I was able to attack, I just kind of used my attacks and say, oh, yeah, I'm skilled in swords. So, I don't know. As far as the ninja's ability, they have a lot of the same abilities as a thief. They also have a lot of the same abilities as a thief acrobat. And they have the assassinate ability. And as they go up in levels, they have the special key, which all Oriental Adventure classes get a special key type power where they can focus their energy. The ninja starts by holding his breath at first level. At 5th level, he can walk across smooth water for short distances per level. And then at 12th level, he's able to pass through walls. I don't know where that came from the Ninja Legends. I don't remember that in Ninja Legends, but...
It's like the ghost.
Yeah, I guess...
Ghost power.
Yeah, I guess Gary decided that, hey, why don't there are myths and legends and ghosts, why not pass through walls? So,
of course.
I don't know. Yeah. The class is a difficult class to go on levels. What is it, 4,000 experience points for first level to second?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
Especially when you're splitting your experience points with your other class.
Well, you're not actually splitting it with the other class, because if you read the actual ninja rules, you don't split it. The DM is entitled to give separate experience points for each class.
Okay.
So if you do ninja things throughout the adventure, he can give you a couple hundred points, and that's just ninja experience. Right. And as opposed to the 700 everybody gets for the normal adventure.
Okay. So, yeah, you only get experience for doing ninja things, no matter what else you may have been doing. So, it'll be very slow-moving, considering 4,000 experience is on the high end of advancement for classes in general.
I'm just looking at the experience points that you need to get to, like, say, 9th level. As a ninja, you need 500,000. Most other classes, it's half that to reach 9th level.
The ninja can also use any armor that their class allows them to, but when they're doing ninja-like things, they cannot use the armor, so they have to take it off. And pretty much you could describe it as the traditional ninja garb with the mask and everything, or you can have it a different way, like the hood. Mm-hmm. It's up to how you want to play your character, mostly.
Hey, I have a question about how you've done experience points on this, Vince. And I don't know if other guys have been in this situation. So let's say you have a ninja in your campaign, and he has this ongoing mission that he's been given by the head of the family. But right now he is just infiltrating this campaign group, and so he's in disguise. So he's using his ninja ability of disguise to just go along with this campaign, and then he might sneak out at night to go assassinate somebody. But would you give him experience for all the stuff he does while he's in disguise, because that's using his ninja ability?
That's a good question. And I would say I'd have to look over the disguise ability, and let's see what his disguise pretty much is. See, at first level, it would be kind of hard to do that, though. Keep up a disguise all day long like that. Right. At 20% at first level, even with the DM modifier, because numbers aren't final, but...
Yeah, and the special ability really applies to trying to pass as like a merchant or peasant, so I guess it's just a short-term disguise the way it's written.
Yeah, I mean, if he masks as a bushi all day long, then I wouldn't give experience for that probably, unless he, like you said, came in as a merchant and tried to pull off the whole merchant thing all day long. But then as soon as he started attacking and doing this and that, the group's going to go, wait a minute, and then you probably have to do some rolling. And so I've never had someone do that because I don't want to disturb the party flow. So
yeah,
but it's a good thing going on there. Yeah, I like the idea. So anyway, that's that class based off of Oriental Adventures. Now, Nick, you have the Dragon Magazine one in front of you?
Yeah, I sure do. Now, the original ninja class, I guess the original ninja class for D&D first came out. Let's go back in our Wayback Machine, the July of 1978. Issue number 16 of Dragon Magazine. A fellow by the name of Sheldon Price.
Cooper?
No, not Sheldon Cooper.
Sorry.
Might as well been. But introduced the ninja to D&D to much of my hatred. Now, the Oriental Adventures ninja compared to this one is tame compared to the one in Dragon Magazine.
Yeah.
They nerfed it. Between the two, it's like, boy, did they nerf it.
Yeah.
Because, now, I also got to let you know, the ninja, as designed originally in Dragon Magazine by this person, was an NPC class. It was not to be meant to be run as a player character. That's why when you look at the article, there's no experience point levels.
Right.
But it's sick. I'm just picturing this guy who's sitting out. It's like, how am I going to make the coolest character class on the planet? I'm going to combine, basically.
Is that how he sounds, Nick?
I don't know. and I don't care. I hate this character class because it's combining the combination of samurai, monk, thief, and assassin. Really?
Yeah.
They have a comparison how the ninja works as this class was. They advance in combat as a fighter. They have saving throws as a fighter.
Jeez.
But they do open hand attacks as a monk. They have assassination ability. What's some other things they can do? They are a special oriental subclass of assassin. They have trained since youth to be the master of arts and ninjutsu. It makes it. Their alignment is strictly neutral. This means that rather than worrying about grand cosmic balances, a ninja is interested in only what is good for himself. This makes it virtually impossible for a ninja to change in alignment, and they are incorruptible in matters of alignment. Are you already see problems happening here?
Yeah.
They are, in encounters involving a ninja with another being, there's an automatic 20% chance that the being or thing encounter will consider the ninja to be its own alignment. Ninjas are able to simultaneously use, with no drawbacks, if he makes the right rolls, swords of law, neutrality, and chaos.
Ooh, the infamous swords.
That means if they're intelligent swords, they have an alignment, he can use any alignment he wants.
Yep.
Yeah, it's broken. This is where it gets funny. Non-human and female ninja exist, though they are rare. Elves, dwarves, halflings, and humans may become ninja. Now picture yourself a dwarven ninja. Exactly. Now everybody start laughing. They are not limited in race. They may not be multi-classed. Oh, big deal. They have good night vision. At first level, they can see clearly at night 30 feet.
Ninja class has the ability for night vision?
Yes, the class.
The class. So
if you're a human, you have night vision at 30 feet.
So what, do they burn his eyes and like the ability shows up?
At 6th level increases to 60 feet. They are surprised as monks too.
The monks are probably surprised by them too.
Yeah, they have the same surprise. As far as monks getting surprised, they have that same ability. They are able to simulate death, lower body temperature, slowing heartbeat. They can travel up to 50 miles per day at 2nd level. Yeah, it gets better. Higher than 6, they go 75 miles a day. 10th level, 100 miles a day. This distance may be traveled without unduly tiring the ninja. I'm like, oh my God. I read through this thing, and it gets into the poisons, and he has some similar ability as, like, the ninja's nimbleness. Like, you know how monks have that special ability, like they could dodge fireballs?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They have something similar to that, too.
Yeah. They say he's a magician of one level higher versus spells.
Yeah.
Except hobbits and dwarves do not add the 4 levels?
Yeah.
Yeah, since they get the bonus versus spell, they don't get the added bonus.
And ninja know how to use all weapons.
Right.
This is the most broken class on the planet.
Right.
My favorite part of this article is where it has the detection of the ninja section.
Yeah.
And it says, as most of the ninjutsu consists of trained reflexes, it's possible for these reflexes to cause him to betray himself.
Huh?
This should be done at the discretion of the game master. If a game master should decide that this has happened, he should never simply say, he's a ninja. Instead, he should say something more like, he avoided that rock very nimbly. It should be done this way to avoid having players throw rocks at everyone they meet.
Yeah.
He's a ninja. Throw a rock at him.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm just trying to picture the person who made this, like, oh my God, I'm going to make the ultimate character class on the planet. I'm going to take monk and assassin, and he's going to dodge fireballs.
Yeah.
It's going to be so cool.
What year was this written at?
1978.
Ugh.
Yeah. And then it's hit dice are...
Oh, the hit dice are crazy.
Yes.
They actually go up incrementally.
Right. You don't increase just the number of dice, but the type of dice.
The type of die. So first level, you have 1d4 hit dice.
That's 0.
That's at 0 level.
Yeah.
First level, you get 1d6. It's a d6 all the way up to 8th level, where it's a d8.
7d8.
7d8. Then a 10d6 at 9th level. Then 9d8 at 10th level. It's weird how the hit dice go.
Yeah, then 11, 6d12 plus a d8. 12, 6d12 plus 2d8. Then it goes 7d12, 1d8. 8d12. You just added that d12 the higher up you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus, it's like written to have like the ultimate bad guy on every encounter to fight the party. I mean, really?
Yeah, really. Thank God it was an NPC class, but I have a story that'll be a little addendum to that. Anyway, and their equipment. I love this one. The Dart Shuriken. They resemble long nails. They attack as +2 daggers.
Whoa.
Yeah, when they use against chain, the chain is considered to give protection equal to leather.
Whoa.
The shuriken slips in between the links of the chain and is slowed only by padding underneath, which is treated as leather. The shuriken does a basic D6 point of damage against a man-sized target. So that's just some of their equipment. I'm like, look at this Dart Shuriken. I'm like, really? I mean, come on.
I can't believe that Gygax and Cask would let this go through as an article.
And it gets better because there was another one called the New Improved Ninja.
Oh, even better. Great.
Yeah, in October 1979.
Is it written by the same guy?
Yes.
Go on.
But just more weaponry, like a cannon.
A cannon?
Yes, a cannon.
He pulls a ninja cannon out of his backpack?
A ninja cannon. A cannon may also be used. The cannon is a wooden tube about 8 inches in outside diameter, 6 inches inside, and 30 inches long. Fires a spherical metal projectile about 60 feet in a low, flat trajectory. It may hit more than one target when fired.
Sweet.
The ninja could fire it while holding it in his hands standing up. The tube may be used no more than 3 times. It takes 2 gold pieces and 1 week to make the tube. Really? It takes 10...
the ground.
Yeah.
The thing would launch out of his hands 30 inches.
But this is the ultimate class. Don't you understand? This was made... Yeah. Yeah, I want... Sheldon, shame on you. Shame on you for making this class.
Even Sheldon Cooper wouldn't like this guy.
Mr. Price, shame on you. Naughty, naughty.
Yeah, we should find this guy and like say, what the heck was wrong with you?
Like, what the hell? What were you smoking?
Hope he's listening.
I mean, this is like... Thank God it was just an NPC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine this was a PC class. Is this? Oh, but I have a story about that.
Please go on with your story.
Oh, yes. When I was in my youth, way back in 1900,
what was that? 100 and what?
1980 something or another.
Uh-huh.
I remember this guy who was, I don't know what it was, but it seemed like every single time he would, whatever character he played, it was like /ninja.
Ugh.
Like, magic user /ninja. Fighter /ninja. I'm like, where is he getting this ninja class thing from? I'm like, and he was really a creepy guy, too. He'd wear, like, those ninja sock shoe thingies. And
Really?
yeah.
So he was obsessed with ninjas.
Yeah, he was a really big guy, too.
Okay.
But I'm like, and no one wanted to play with him. But anyway, the Dragon Magazine article will put you in nerd rage for about an hour, and then you'll get over it. I just look back and I laugh, and I was laughing when I was reading it. I'm like, really? This thing is so powerful. It's sick.
I think what's interesting about the article, though, about that version of the class, is that it's based more on the historical ninja than on like the Hollywood ninja. The Oriental Adventures one is like the Hollywood ninja where they're wearing the black costume and walking on tight ropes.
Fighting Chuck Norris in the octagon, yeah.
This one's more like the historical ninja where it wasn't a guy who was wearing that little black mask. He was dressed like somebody else, but he would just secretly kill people using poison. Right. And so I like that aspect of it, that you actually use the weapons of the class that you're disguised as, but you also have this other ninja side. However, it's super overpowered, and it is called the DM's Hitman in the article title.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that is the DM's Hitman. It's just, come on. I mean, a regular high enough assassin might be good enough, but this is just sick and scary.
Sick and scary. Okay.
When you guys run your campaigns, I've found this. I find that people who play thieves tend to play them as if they're playing ninjas anyway. Not the class ninja, but like the movie ninjas, because they're always like climbing stuff and sneaking around and trying to assassinate people from behind. Like thieves in D&D seem a lot like Hollywood ninjas to me, the way they're played.
Yeah, some people do that.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a movie, Hollywood Ninja?
Yeah, with
Chris Farley.
Yeah, or
Beverly Hills
like
Ninja.
Beverly Hills Ninja. Yes.
Yeah.
That's basically every thief character I played.
Yeah.
Chris Farley's Beverly Hills Ninja. But if you want to have a laugh, try to find July 1978, number 16, The Ninja, and also October 1979, number 30 of Dragon Magazine, the new improved Ninja, improved my left-facing fighter.
Yeah, it's just the same stuff. He just added like more poisons and equipment.
Like a cannon.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the healing skills. It's Ninja Doctor.
Ninja Doctor, yes.
Yes.
Dr. Ninja,
Miyagi's
Dr.
healing
Ninja.
powers.
Yes,
He
he's
claps hands together.
Clapping of the hands.
Yeah, they're able to learn to treat any one disease for 10 gold. He gains the ability to heal 2 hit points a day. I mean, a day.
Great.
Yeah.
Also, you can find him. I'm looking at him actually in Best of Dragon Volume 2. So if you have that stashed away, read through that, get a laugh, have a beer, sit down, drink that, and just go, what was this guy thinking?
or have your players fight a clan of them. I mean, they would never expect the Dragon Magazine ninja to attack them.
I would rather fight 10 Oriental Adventure ninjas than one Dragon Magazine ninja any day.
Hey, that's what you could do. You could stick one of these chasing the party. There's a hit put out on it.
You know what? Make it a halfling.
Yes.
The ultimate snub right there. Make it like a 16th level Dragon Magazine ninja halfling.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Right.
That would be funny.
I think I don't remember looking at the second edition Ninja. I think might have cleared up a little bit as far as balancing issues, but I can't remember it offhand. I have to look that up after the show. Ask That Goes Hammer people about it, but yeah, Ninja, blah. It's like those people that like to play. What is that combination, Nick? That Munchkin combination? Is it an Elven Ranger?
Elven Ranger Druid?
Like Angel, yeah, with Thief and Cleric added in there or something? Or
well, you could play a Elven Druid magic user.
Yeah, I just like the people, I'm going to play this so I have everything. It's like, okay. Munchkin.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Any closing remarks on ninjas? Anything we didn't cover, guys?
Not that I could think of, besides the Dragon Magazine one is evil.
Was there anything in White Dwarf that anyone remembers? No, right?
Not that I am aware of.
I didn't see it when I was looking through White Dwarf, so who knows? Maybe there is and I missed it. Blah. I know there was nothing in the Polyhedron magazines. I have those.
See how stealthy they are? You can't find them anyplace else.
Yeah.
Tim, anything to add?
No, I would just like to add that besides thieves being ninja-like, when my son creates characters, he often creates ninjas. Even when we're playing something like Mutants and Masterminds, he basically creates a superhero that has ninja powers. And it's closer to the Dragon Magazine version, I'll be honest.
But that's in a superhero campaign. That's okay.
And that's a little kid making a ninja superhero.
Because sooner or later, he's going to run into Dr. Doom, and it's just all over.
Yeah. Take it to your kids at your gaming group and see what they have to say about the Dragon Magazine ninja.
You see, oh yeah, you got a really cool super ninja? Meet Galactus.
Yeah.
Right.
He eats planets.
Bring it to them and see what they say, and then get back to us. I'd like to see what their opinion on it.
Will do. I'll do some research.
Yeah, that would be good.
You have an assignment. You're a field reporter now.
Okay.
This is Tim reporting live from
the elementary school.
And what do the kids say? This is so awesome!
This little kid named Sheldon said he loves this class. No. Sheldon Price Jr. No kidding.
Oh God.
Anyway, that's how we play Ninja. Let's head over to Treasure Chest.
You have opened the treasure chest. You may choose an item.
And now we're in the treasure chest, and we're going to go and talk about a spell from Oriental Adventures that is rather fitting of the ninja theme. Because it has sword in the title and darkness. The Sword of Darkness. This would actually be a way to deal with the
ninja.
Yeah, the ninja. The Dragon Magazine ninja.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, because, you see, this spell requires you to have a sword as one of the spell components. And it creates a sword that will generate jet black pure evil.
Evil.
Oh.
Yes. Because when cast, the sword can only attack one creature. But, when it hits, the sword temporarily drains 1 to 3 levels or hit dice of the creature.
Jeez.
So,
yeah.
This is for all the people that ever wanted to get back at a DM that sent some level-draining undead against them.
Like vampires.
Yes.
Vampires.
That would actually be interesting. You use this against vampires, and you just have a level drain off to see who falls first. A first level vamp, you start out both 10th level, and now you're down to both first level from the brutality of it.
Vampire gets its baby fangs back.
Yeah. Yeah, you also take the damage from the sword itself, too. So whatever the sword was, you're taking that damage in addition to it. When the victim, though, is reduced to 0 levels, much like what happens to other characters when they get reduced to level 0 by undead, they come back in 3 days as a Kui. So, yeah. This is
What is the Kui?
Let's see monster section. So let's go to the monster section.
It's a fruit that's green. Oh, that's an avocado.
No, that's kiwi.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Come back as a kiwi fruit?
Yes, you do. You come back as a kiwi fruit, and you fight for the rest of your life.
The Kui is a demon ghost.
Yes. So, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically you're creating undead, which at that point will probably come after you. It's just wacky. So, yes, you're creating more villains for you to fight by killing villains with this sword. Yeah. But fortunately, though, the levels are temporary, so they only last 1 round per level of the caster. So if you can extend the combat for a while, you can...
Well, this is a Wu-Gen spell, so this is going to last at least 11, 12 rounds, right?
Right, so basically after the encounter, you'll get your levels back if you survive.
But not your spells. If you lost your spells, they have been wiped clean from the character's mind.
Yes, because you have to remember, when you lose your levels, it also says to adjust your hit points and everything else, too. So your saves will drop, your total number of hit points drop, which leads to that ever-messy question of how do you keep track of, when you're like 8th level, how much hit points you gain per level?
I'm just thinking... How many of you see Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie?
Oh, I have.
You know the part where the mutant is getting hit over the head?
Uh-huh.
Boom! Oh, there goes piano lessons. Boom! Oh, I can't remember my dad. So I keep on thinking of like the level drain is how it works.
Yeah. It's just like, poof, you lose all your experience, all your levels. You're down to your level 1. Then about 5 minutes later, oh, I feel better. But, yeah.
I forgot everything. Oh, then I brought it all back. Okay.
Right. So, yeah, if you can just get a couple hits off with this sword, you're going to drop most things. Yeah, so just pure nasty, and it's strictly evil, so I wouldn't want players running around casting it unless they were evil as well.
Or if they're running up against a D&D ninja from Dragon Magazine.
Then it would be expected. Because I could almost see using this spell being dishonorable for the more good and lawfully aligned people.
Yeah, because it does say it radiates evil when it's created, right?
Right. So I would say this would be like besmirch your family's reputation, especially if it was cast you were seen wielding this sword in front of others. Like if you're fighting off like an attack in a town and the villagers see you wielding this evil weapon, they'd be like,
This would be something you use against the big bad evil guy right at the very end.
Right, yeah. This isn't just something you're going to go running around casting willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Because otherwise there will be repercussions like a lot of undead coming after you. Because at that point, everything you've killed with the sword, I would probably just have start stalking you.
Yeah, because they're very unhappy.
Right. You'd be rather angry if you got level drained to 0 and 3 days later came back.
As a evil undead thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would be a bit put out.
Right. But, yeah, I just found it just totally wacky and, hey, I can just start level draining things right and left.
Yeah.
It's just...
I love the material component. It's a katana or a longsword.
Right. Yeah. Because you're imbuing this evil power into it.
Evil.
Oh, yes. Now, however, though, I could see the big bad using it against the players.
Sure.
Right. Especially if you set it up to where maybe the first set of guards were sent out by the local nobility to find said big bad and bring him to justice, only to never return, at which point you're also fighting them as the undead as well.
Huh.
So you can actually kind of add in the minions rather easily with it.
Yes, the mini onions.
Yes, so yes, Sword of Darkness, very fun spell. Yes, so go wield it. Just use it appropriately, like at ninjas.
Exactly.
It's also way more powerful than any other 6th level spell in the book. So
right.
Yeah, a lot more powerful.
Yeah. It's kind of like when we were talking about the creeping doom of the druid. It's just like 7th level to do 1,000 hit points? Really? So yeah, just
that ranks right up there with creeping doom.
Yes, it does.
As an 11th level Wujen in your 6th level spell, you could part water, speak with the undead, or cast a giant sword of darkness. What are you going to do?
Speak with undead.
Oh, yes. Well, actually, after you kill them with the Sword of Darkness...
You can talk to them.
You can talk
I feel bad. I'm sorry.
You could taunt them.
You can taunt them.
Oh, even worse.
Right.
You kill them and they go...
Then you part the water as they're chasing you.
Oh,
and
there you go.
Then unpart it and flood them. But they're ghosts, so it doesn't matter.
No.
Yeah, they're non-corporal creatures.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we'll close the treasure chest this week. I forgot the bumper to that one. I don't know what it was. I think it was a Zelda sound.
Yes,
effect.
it was a creaking of a chest and
from the original Zelda game. Yeah,
yes.
That's right.
Awesome.
I went around looking for that forever and found it. But anyway,
a friend of mine actually used that sound at his wedding when he opened up the case that was holding his ring.
You could buy cases like that have the sound effect in it.
Oh, awesome!
Wow.
That someone built an actual treasure chest and put the sound in it, so when his group opened it up, it went doo-doo-doo-doo. It was really cool. Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's going to wrap up the show this week.
I think so, yeah. So, everybody hate the Dragon Magazine Ninja? Say aye. Aye.
L. Oh, sorry.
What?
I don't know. And we thank Tim for stopping by.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
And Tim, you write comicbookresources.com, right?
Yep, Comic Book Resources, When Words Collide every Monday, and Tor.com every Monday. We have a column called Advanced Readings in D&D.
Awesome.
I'm going to read that one. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, definitely throw up the link so Matt can throw it in our show notes here in Skype chat. And
will do.
I think we'll have to say keep it original, keep it old school, and good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye everyone.
Roll for initiative.